Hello, and welcome to the ORION Cellular Endpoint Activation video. Please note that the endpoint in this video was activated indoors to ensure production values. Please always be sure to activate your ORION cellular endpoints in the field at the installation site in an upright position and as close to the final mounting location as possible. Also note, when installing the endpoint in a pit installation, Badger Meter requires that the endpoint be mounted through a non-metal pit lid. Endpoints that are not properly installed may not be covered under warranty. Please refer to the ORION Water Endpoints Installation Manual for more information. Before activating the ORION cellular endpoint, ensure that the endpoint is connected to the register or encoder and get the endpoint as close as possible to its final mounting position. The IR communication device must remain in alignment with the endpoint LED during the entire activation process, so use of an ORION cellular endpoint IR alignment tool is recommended. If you are not using an IR alignment tool, align the IR communication device with the endpoint LED port, holding it approximately 1/2 inch to 1 inch away from the endpoint LED, and hold in this position until the entire process completes. If you are using the IR alignment tool, place the IR communication device in the IR alignment tool as shown. Then attach the tool to the ORION cellular endpoint. To begin, press and release the number 1 on the device. The green LED next to the 1 will blink as the device establishes communication with the endpoint and transitions the endpoint to on from a soft or hard sleep mode. The number 1 LED will turn solid green to indicate success. Next, the device checks the endpoint's connection to the encoder. The number 3 LED turns solid green to indicate success. On the endpoint, 1 long flash of the LED indicates success, and 3 short LED flashes represent an error. Lastly, the device will register the endpoint on the cellular network. The LED next to the number 4 flashes green, while the modem turns on, registers the network, communicates to beacon, and returns its results. It turns a solid green when successful. On the endpoint, 2 long flashes of the LED indicate success, and 6 short flashes indicate an error. After a successful activation, you will see 3 solid green LED lights on the device, next to the numbers 1, 3, and 4, which will remain lit for 10 seconds after the number 4 completes. This allows the installer time to make note of the IR communication device lights. Activation errors. If any part of the activation process fails, the device will report a flashing red light next to the corresponding number. Please wait until all functions are completed, then press and release just the number that corresponds to the device red LED to retry that function. For encoder communication errors, number 3, check the connections before retrying. For network communication errors, number 4, make sure the endpoint is as close to its final mounting position as possible before retrying. Activation logs. The IR communication device has a limited storage capacity to save the activation log files created when an ORION cellular endpoint is activated. The device is able to save approximately 200 activation logs. Once the memory is full, the device stops saving the log files. The old log files must be deleted from the device periodically so that new files can continue to be saved. To access the memory of the IR communication device, first connect the device to a computer using a customer-provided micro USB cable. The computer should recognize that a USB storage device has been connected, and it will show in your Windows navigation. Please note, your computer may give the device a different letter and/or name than the one shown here. Open the drive location on the computer. Delete the old files out of the device. If you want to save them for future record, you can choose to copy them to a folder on your computer's hard drive prior to deleting. When finished, disconnect the device from the computer. Please note, these same connection steps should be used if a Badger Meter support specialist requests to see the log files as part of a service call. Please contact Badger Meter Technical Support if you need any additional assistance. They can be reached at techsupport@badgermeter.com or at 1-800-616-3837.